Hello, hello, lovely members. And lovely sim racers, sorry. I'm Constantinos and this is Lovely Sim Racing. I'd like to welcome everyone, not just the lovely members, but also the lovely members to this stream. Tonight's stream is Chill Chat and Dev session, I think it's 7, I think, in the 7th, I think, session. Music. Is everything working? Yeah, music is on, voice is on. Okay, good. I've been so stressed. I have been absolutely stressed. I was making some changes. Someone had submitted some changes. Well, not exactly changes, but something for the total number of drivers in iRacing, and I was actually working on that right now. As crazy as it may seem, I actually decided to implement that change right before the release. So, what are we going to expect today? Today I will be releasing version 2.6.0 for the public. I've decided not to release the code and documentation yet. I'll wait for that maybe a little bit later tonight or tomorrow. So right now, I will be releasing the files. So that'll happen almost immediately. And then I'll just go back into... this will not be a really long stream, to be honest. It'll be rather short. I don't have many things to do, not tonight at least. So before I release, I will be doing some tests here. I'll be sharing that live. And yeah, and then I'll just be releasing the files so everyone will be able to download them and use the dashboard. And tomorrow at some point I'll be releasing the full documentation and everything for... Actually, you can still see the documentation. I'll show you guys how. But I'm just being a bit too cautious at this point. And I also want to discuss, really touch on a few subjects that that I want to, work on going forward. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a rather cool and chill stream and evening. No racing, nothing like that. It's going to be a standard, chill chat and dev. But it's been a bit stressful, to be honest. Trying to get this thing released. There's so many things going on. Too many things, actually. Let me get this thing shut up. Quiet. Do not disturb. On. Go away. Thank you. So I hope you've all been well. And this is the moment where we will be releasing version 2.6. So this last release of the lovely dashboard was November 3rd. So it's been a good 3 months. Well, how is it? It's over 3 months. It's due. I already said that the public releases will be every quarter, 3 to 4 months, depending on how many things I'll be releasing and fixing and making sure that everything works. And you'll see now, again, I want to test a few things. So let me before these, literally, I've been trying to solve an issue. It is complicated. Let me switch over to this. I don't want that. I'll do windowed mode. So this is the lovely dashboard. Current version as it stands. And what I did do... Irix, how you doing, man? So what I did fix today is this thing over here. This little bit over here. So now this tries and finds your session, basically. And... sorry, I have to move the controls down here. And if it's a lap-based session, as this one is here, it says this is lone qualifying, so 0 of 2, your position 1 of 1, blah blah blah. But even when the race starts, now this is the format. So if it's a lap-based race, 0 of 75 laps, it'll show you the position. I think there's also something here that I changed. I mean, literally moments ago. For iRacing, the property position wasn't reporting back consistently. So I swapped that out for another one that seems to be working. I made a condition so it only works for iRacing. You also notice that iRating here also works. So wait, when's the race starting here? I want to see something. So here, where it says iRating, I don't know if it's going to work now, because this is the lap-based session. So it might not work. There's so many cases that I need to figure out. I don't want this thing to go by. Okay, here. Race Lab, this shows you the rating. Yeah, okay, maybe that's not going to work now. Not broken, it's just a lap-based session. So basically here, what you'd expect to see, where it says iRating, you'd expect to see your strength of field before the race starts. But since and that's based on time, so this should actually have that. Like even though it's a session with a lap-based start, time left, session has not started. It says 7,000,000 trillion hours. Okay. So we don't have that information. Race has started. Oh yeah, okay. So session auto. Yeah, it's peculiar. Yeah. Anyway, this, when it's a time-based session, this would show you strength of field right before the race. Currently, it just, if it's a lap-based, anyway, I don't want to get carried away with these things. Essentially, what I did was fix this. There was a report. This wasn't working well in iRacing. This also should work in Formula 1. So if I swap out and go to Formula 123, it should show lap-based. And trust me, if it doesn't show, I won't be happy. There it is, race laps. Race laps, position, everything. And if it is a time-based session, so let's go to something like ACC. I'm just swapping out replays here. So if it's a practice session, it'll show you time left. Well, actually no. If it's a practice session, since it's an open practice, it just shows you the time of day, and that just shows you the time of day where you're doing it. But if we go to an actual race, now it shows you how much time left, position, and your current lap. It doesn't show you how many laps because it's time-based, whereas when it's a lap-based, it shows you how many laps are available. And if you're in a race, it says race and shows you the time and position and so forth. And I think this now should work a bit better. But again, this is something that's being reported from SimHub, the actual position gained or lost. So I'm not controlling that. I'm just using, for iRacing at least, which had some issues, I'm using a different property which reports position better. So maybe that's going to work better now. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. All right. That was what I fixed this evening. Total number of drivers. Not going to fix anything else. Added to version 2.6.0. That's the last contribution I'll be doing for version 2.6.0. All right, so I'm going to launch it now, so you guys can go off and have fun and play around. But if you do stick around, I'll just maybe chat through a few things that I want to do. So first off, if you guys go to the actually, let me go here. So version 2.6.0. This is the short version. This is just the stuff that I can actually remember that have changed in version 2.6.0. So I try to document it as much as possible, but the most important thing is True Dark mode and the theming system has been added. So this is like the most important thing. Track turn data, obviously. Major performance improvement. That is probably, like, these are all the top features that have been added or updated. So, you know, these are the things that you'd want to know about version 2.6.0. There are a lot of new features and additions and hundreds of bug fixes. Of those, True Dark mode is basically, you know, the most important bit here, and there is documentation. I'll show you where you can find it. For now, tomorrow I'll be launching everything, you know, properly. Top features are over here, if you want to read what those are. Top fixes and track data. So all ACC tracks are included, including Red Bull Ring, which was added last Thursday, I think, or Wednesday, or when was that added? No, actually Monday. Damn, I don't remember. Whenever it was added, I popped it in as well. And iRacing, I only had Watkins Glen, but now I've also added Daytona because of the Daytona 24. So everything, all of this will be available to everyone in just a few minutes. Hey Robin, how you doing? You're waving as you pass by. You should have waved to the guy in the morning. Man, that was some really nice races, man. Good stuff. So if you're here to see what's going on, I'm releasing version 2.6.0. I'm making a really big deal out of it because I'm only going to be releasing publicly every 3 or 4 months. But this is a major release. Super happy for it, and it's not just the release of the dashboard. It's tools on the side, and I'll walk you through everything. But yeah, let's just hit the button, So there's the dashboard Excel, dashboard, flags, overlay, and tower. All of these have been updated. Edit this for a second. This should be V. Save. Going along with that. Okay. Darth mode. It shows TC cut as 3 for the Maserati at Red Bull Ring. Bling Clean Brazil, I'm assuming. If that's what it is, it is. Maybe you can't change TC. Actually, Maserati doesn't. Does Maserati have traction control? I know for the GT4s it didn't. I don't know for this is the GT2. I'm assuming you're saying, because there's not just one Maserati. I haven't tried it. It is, if it is there, it's because there is. Some cars have TC2, TC cut, and you can't change it. GT2, yeah, okay. You know what? You need to file a bug report if it is a bug report, and I will check the data, and if that's what it's returning, then that's what it's returning. But back to this. Well, I guess I just did it really quick, like a band-aid. So everyone, if you now go to the GitHub page, of dashboard version 2.6.0 has been released. You can download the files from here. You won't see notification in your dashboard yet. I will do that tomorrow. I'm just going to wait for you guys. Well, I don't, everyone that's watching this stream, all 16 of you, or how many will see it later, can go obviously and download it. But I don't want to go, too far and too wide. I want you guys to test it. This has been tested, many hours of testing with the lovely members, with myself and everything. So I'm pretty sure that if all of you use it, you might find a few more bugs or something. Don't forget, you can always visit the Discord. You can go inside, bug reporting and mention it. Now, alongside the lovely dashboard version 2.6.0, which, by the way, has been released. It dropped. It's right here on the releases. All right, and you can just download the files here. One thing that I'm actually really happy for that we managed to do with IRIX, Jörg, we also released the settings file configurator. So if anyone previously wasn't feeling comfortable using and editing the JSON files for the settings, now we have this, and we also updated it yesterday as well. So if you click here, you'll be taken to the settings file configurator. And basically here, all you need to do is, if you don't have a file at all, so you don't need to download this file. I'm just repeating all the stuff that I've already said in the videos that I had. You don't need to download this file. You can just download the dashboard. You can install the dashboard, and then you don't need to download this. You just come to the settings file configurator and start a new file. And in here, you add all the information. And one of the updates we did yesterday was the color. So now it only accepts hex codes from now on, but you can just tap on here. You can select a color or hit other and just, make up whatever color you want. Doesn't really matter. And of course, add all of the other information that is required. And when you're done and you're setting up your settings file, you just hit download, and the file is downloaded automatically to your downloads folder. And the file will look something like this. with all of the settings. It's a lot slimmer than the previous one. There's not too much information in this. It's just the settings. So you take that file, you put it in SimHub JavaScript extensions, and you run the plugin. You restart SimHub just to be sure, and you're good to go. And what's more, and I think this is kind of important for the settings file, if you already have a settings file, either an old one or the new one, doesn't really matter, and you don't want to lose those settings that you have, you, again, come to the main page, choose file, you go to, let's say, your downloads file. You remember the color we selected, which is a weird color. You select it, you hit open and upload, and here's the color we previously had selected. And obviously, if you have anything here, it'll be here. So you can load up your previous, whatever it had. It has to be a version 2 and after. So I'm assuming everyone has the latest version or the newest version of the lovely settings file. You just upload it here and you make changes, and then you just hit again download. Anywhere you see the download file, and you put it in your JavaScript extensions, overriding the previous one, and you are good to go. So that's that. One thing I want you guys to see also, since you're here and you might be watching, on the GitHub page, the documentation you see here is the actual old documentation. It's not updated yet. So I've only updated the files for the dashboard, so you guys can download it. But if you want to go through the new documentation, just go where it says here main, and go to version 2.6.0, which is the branch. This has been here since a couple of days if you never ever saw it, which is fine. But this is the brand new documentation. So everything you need to know, it's in here. I will be publishing this to the main branch, so you won't need to do what I just showed you. But when I do this, when I publish this, and everyone that has the lovely dashboard will get a notification saying there's a new version out. And although it's fine, you guys can download it, I don't want to go as far as wide right now. I want you guys to download it, use it tonight and tomorrow I'll update it and everyone will know. Hey Peyton, welcome to the stream. The file config has been great, but can you add a copy-paste thing to make it easier for some of us to get the right SimHub folder? I cannot. You need to paste it in the folder. I cannot move it to the folder for you. In fact, if you have SimHub installed on another drive, I wouldn't know. But you literally just go to your downloads folder or wherever you have it downloaded, you copy it, and you go to your program file, SimHub, JavaScript extensions, and you paste it in there. But you always need to restart SimHub. Just remember that. So yeah, this is the brand new documentation. I have a little example here. If it works, you can see it changes colors as well. I have all the new partners and officially agreed with all of these partners. I have the videos for you guys to watch, the setup and customization and the configuration file with yours truly. You know, what's included, what's not, what to download, first time install, very important. If you are using iRacing and you want to see your SOF and your iRating, you will need to follow these instructions here, and these are only for iRacing. So if you're doing that, follow these instructions here. You need to download from the link here these two files and place them in the SimHub folder, and that is how you install plugins on SimHub. It's not something that I'm doing. I'm just suggesting you download these. And when it turns on, when you restart SimHub, you will also activate it. So all of this information is here. If you need to update the dashboard, this is how you do it. I have some information about the settings file, and I'll get to that in a while. Then I do a lot of explaining on the True Dark mode. I think True Dark mode it's more than what you guys see. It's not just colors. So I have some science in here as well regarding melatonin, and I also have the source where you guys can read more about it, but why and how this helps. And then obviously compatibility with all the sims, a link to membership which didn't exist before. This project takes a lot of time, so please consider becoming a member at any level. Doesn't really matter. All members, all levels have access to the all the releases that I have of Lovely Dashboard. Pro and Gold members also have the pit wall, which now you can see as a preview in the ecosystem. So if you go down here, if you scroll down here, Lovely Dashboard ecosystem, you can see the Lovely Dashboard. You can see all the bits and pieces, what it's made out of. I also have a screenshot of the pit wall, if you guys are interested in seeing that. And it's available only to Pro and Gold Lovely members. Made a note, it's not available to everyone, but it is part of the ecosystem. And then you have the 10-inch, the XL, the overlay, the tower, and of course the flags, which also should animate. Animate. Go. Animate. Yeah, it's just an example of how the flags work. An important thing with version 2.6 is how I handle analytics. So now I'm following GDPR rules, European rules regarding data protection. So now analytics is off by default. So if you download the dashboard and install it, analytics is off. Only if you want to do that, you use the settings file, downloading the settings file and installing it in the JavaScript extensions folder is consent. You're actively consenting to the analytics. But if you still don't want it, in the settings file, you can still turn it off. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I would appreciate if you leave it on. This is completely anonymous information that's being shared. It's more for me to understand what's being used, what sims you guys are using, what modules you prefer using, what pages you're on. I don't know what you specifically are using. I just know the general public. I also know how many people, and thousands of people, have been using it daily, monthly, and well, almost annually now. A few months we'll have 1 year of data, and this is all useful for developing the dashboard. So please, consider leaving it on. Special thanks to Mike Bowen and Steve Matar and Jorg for helping me set up a few of these bits and pieces, and closing with the partners again. So from here, there are a few things you probably want to see. So there are 2 pages in here. One is the settings file documentation, in which I explain every single bit of the settings keys. So obviously you can edit it by going to the settings file configurator. So if you open this, it'll open the settings file configurator, but you can also, it just tells you how you can edit it directly using VS Code or Notepad. And then it just goes through every single key in the settings file. So if you are on the configurator and you're not sure, you can go back here and read more information on what everything does and how it works. Literally, even the LFM, where you can find it with a link and pit scale, and everything is here. This is the most detailed information regarding the settings file. Everything is here. There's a lot of work in here. Even True Dark mode, how it works, why it works, and all that. And one more thing that I also have in here is the action keys. So how do you set it up, for instance? How you set up your hotkeys. So in the GitHub, I also have a folder here called a file called Actions, in which it basically informs you on how you can set up your actions in SimHub. So the Lovely dashboard, just in case you don't know, has many actions and pages and modules you can change. How do you do that? You need to assign these to keys, either on your steering wheel, your keyboard, your Stream Deck. I don't care, but you need to assign these somewhere so you actually can use it. I have everything on my steering wheel. And in fact, yesterday I changed them all to this funky switch, because I have one funky switch that controls everything on my dashboard now. I haven't tested it yet while driving. We'll see how that goes. But here, basically, on this page, it lets you know that you need to add your device first. So if you're using a DDU unit, you need to add it. If you're using a phone, you still need to add it. It says, for mobiles and tablets, add a web device. For DDUs, find it or add a Vocore. I'm not going, I've said these, I've gone through these a million times, and I'm also available on Discord if you have any issues. I'm just outlining what's here for you guys to read. I know, RTFM, no one does it, but you must RTFM, especially if you have questions. Now, setting up touch triggers, so you can either use a dashboard or a phone. This is how the touch works on the screen. So you can change the MFMs by tapping on this area, and central. These are built in already. You just need to turn it to advanced mode. And if you want to go to the next screen, it's on the top left. And when you're in one of the other screens, you obviously have these available touch areas for next screen, central, and that. And you can go on. Then physical buttons is a bit different. You need to assign physical buttons on your steering wheel or basically on your controller. And I have some suggestions here what to do. And just so you know, action A, B, C, and D, this is the areas that they affect. And obviously when you're on an inner page, these are the areas they affect. And finally, one of the important bits are hotkeys. So with hotkeys in version 2.6.0, you can trigger, if you want, true dark mode, and you can also reset the tire average data. So I have all the information here, obviously. I have some steps you need to do to basically, set up your hotkeys. You will need to enable the keyboard emulator and keyboard input plugins. And as a step 2, you need to go to control and events. So once you enable these plugins, you will have a new option on the left, controls and events, and you go to keyboard emulation and basically just assign what key you want on your controller or anywhere, I don't care. When you click on it, what happens? The simulated key. So these Shift A and Shift D are the pre-assigned hotkeys in the dashboard, but you can change this to Shift A. If it conflicts with anything in your games, you can change it in the settings file. So if I, let's say, click on a button to change dark mode, which is Shift D, if I click on it, it basically triggers Shift D, and Shift D will enable true dark mode. But if Shift D conflicts with the game and anything else, I can go to the settings file, find that panel over there, and I will, let me show you. Here, there. So in the settings file, if I want to change that, for instance, I just go down here where true dark mode is, here, for instance, and say I want Shift plus, I don't know, F5. You have to literally write this down. F5. Okay, so you actually have to write this thing down like that. And for the tire average, you change this. So once you do this, you save this file, you install it in JavaScript, you install it in the JavaScript extensions, restart SimHub, and now when you click on F5 on your Shift F5 on your keyboard or on your wheel, it will trigger whatever action is attached to this. And I think this is pretty much it for documentation. Again, don't expect to see this on the main page right now. All this documentation, you go to the GitHub, and it's over here in version 2.6. This is where you'll see everything. I'm not pushing this live right now, because if I do, then everyone will get a notification for the dashboard. And even though I really want everyone to get the notification, I'd rather it happen a bit slowly, because someone asked in the Eldrian, it has been released. So you can go to the GitHub page and go on the releases, and you can download the files. They're right here. It's open. You can download it. It's done. But I just don't want to push the updates. It's pretty much, I think Nicolas from SimHub taught me that. So even when he pushes a new change and you can download it, it never lights up or never notifies you in the app, or at least for hours or maybe days, depending on how critical the update was, just to make sure that it's running smoothly before everyone gets the notification. So I'm kind of doing the same thing right now. Although I'm on the stream, I got 19 concurrent viewers, so all of you can go download it. I'm telling you, it's there. Okay, so Irix is responding to Peyton regarding the copy-paste. Yeah, I mean, Peyton, we are, Jorg, Irix, has suggested a few things we can do regarding that. The settings file configurator will be updated, will change, and will evolve, and it will get a bit better, the experience on how you use it, but it's going to happen. It's not there yet. All right, Elgion, yeah, it's live. You can go download it. Perfect. There is no good method, I guess. How are you, Peyton? How are you using the dashboard? Are you using it as an overlay? I think you can if you're using it an overlay in SimHub. I think you can control when it shows, if it's game or practice or something. I'm not entirely sure, but I think you can play around with that a bit. But not entirely sure. So you can check the overlays and see if there's a conditional statement where you can have it only during a session, like in the game or something. But I'm not sure. I don't use it as an overlay, so I don't have that information, and I'm not sure. But again, join the Discord, ask the question. If it's not myself, someone else probably will, and they might be able to answer. I know a lot of people are using it as an overlay, so you can always ask there. And if it's not the lovely dashboard, maybe they're using a different overlay and they know how to do it. But I do know that you can use overlays for complicated stuff. Let's catch up a bit. What's going on? New members. Woo! Yeah, guys. I mean, please consider becoming a member. Target first milestone, first huge milestone will be hopefully covered this week. Hopefully. But yeah, I mean, I'm setting really high goals. I can only work on this so much. Like I actually have to not sleep to work on the dashboard. So yeah, the more members, the more I can work on this thing, the more I can come back on other stuff. And it helps. It helps. Michael, well, Peyton, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. I enjoy doing this. So as long as there's support and there's the people that want it, I will continue. Don't worry about that. I cannot pronounce your name. Zingzimoni. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Dan. Yeah, Dan. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, man. There are people. First of all, I mean, I am the main developer, right? I've designed it and I developed it, I do the heavy lifting. But there are the lovely community. Is probably for me the most helpful community out there. I've been to many Discords and it's too much banter, you know, too much talk and not much doing, or everyone's doing this. In the lovely community, I find that there's like every single time when I've asked for help, so how can I do this, how can I do that, everyone stepped up. And not, when I say everyone, I mean many have stepped up. And I'll just give you an example, because the lovely community is, it's just lovely. I think it was 2 weeks ago, Jorg Eriks. It was 2 weeks ago, I think, when I just said, guys, anyone out there can do PHP. I have an idea, let's do this. And there were 3, I think, or 4 members that stepped up and said, like, I can help you. What is it? What is it? But there was one that actually DM'd me and said, let's do it. So there's a different. It's not like I prefer someone. I don't have preferences, but I do when I see someone that has that spark. You know, let's do it. We just started. I mean, I had a really good friend of mine, really close friend of mine, that DM'd me and said, you know, let's do this. But I can't do it now. I can do it next week, and which is fine. I mean, I'm doing this, and I have members, and I have some sort of revenue because I'm doing the heavy lifting, but no one else is required to do anything, honestly. And I kind of try and compensate with some gifts or something with everyone that's been involved at any point in time with the dashboard. So he just stepped up and he said, let's do it. And yeah, and I will not forget it, Irix, don't worry. I'm coming out with some new merchandise, so you'll expect a t-shirt. Yeah, it's the least I can do, basically. So it was, yeah, and basically in 1 week, well, actually not even, it was just in days time, Jorg set it up and it was running. Then we just did a lot of tweaking, and then I took it back in and did all the CSS and the styling and made it into what it looks like today. But the engine, the thing that makes it work, it's Irix. He's in the chat right there. It's all his work. And and we're developing, we're continuing to evolve it. So yes, the lovely community is, I mean, I do the heavy lifting. I've started this, and yes, okay, that's one part, but the reason I'm continuing it is because of the lovely community. So if someone asks, kudos to everyone involved, I will say to all 5,000 members of the lovely Simracing community, every single one of them. So Michael, I was about to reply, but I got back on the chat. So what you want to do is the VOCOR screen changes brightness for a split second when TC triggers. It's not just a TC. In general, VOCOR, the screen itself, runs off of a USB. So just so we know what we're talking about, I should move to this and get rid of that. So this is a VOCOR screen. Literally, this is it. I haven't peeled the thing off yet. There it is. So this is what you find. This is the 6.8 inch. So this is literally exactly the thing you would find inside of any dashboard you buy. That's why I always say, if it's a VOCOR screen, then what you're paying for isn't this. This thing isn't. This costs like $60 or something. It's not expensive. What you're paying for is the build quality and the features for the LEDs and everything else. So keep that in mind. This will always be the same. It doesn't really matter what you buy. If you pay $500 for a VOCOR screen or $100, you're getting the same exact screen. This will never change. Size can change, but the technology will always be the same. Now going back to your problem, just so you know, all of these are powered by, this one specifically is it's a micro USB, as you can see, right? So everything is powered by this. You say which one you got? You got a 5-inch or a 6.8 inch, Michael? Let me know. It does make a difference, but what happens is these are 5 volts going through the USB. So if anything on your screen is flashing like red for the rev limiter and whatever, that draws more power. So drawing more power means it's reducing brightness and going back up again. So it's not just your TC that's flashing, that's changing it, but it's the entire dash. So what I tend to do is, actually, my dashboard, I don't even have it very high. I think my device, I have it on 60%. My dashboard, it's more than enough. And I also reduce the LEDs. So LEDs, I run them at 5%. They're too bright. So the less power you need to consume just by running it in default, you know, in idle, basically, the less chances you'll have of its brightness going off and on and off. The very first versions of the lovely dashboard, I had on the entire screen a red layer that would flash for the rev limiter. So it was the rev limiter was a lot more prominent, and everyone kept reporting back to me. I was running a 5-inch screen, which it does consume, you know, the 5 volts, but it's a lot smaller, so it's less power. But everyone else that had a larger screen kept on saying that it's just flashing, it's going on and off. And then I realized that it's consuming so much power when it's flashing the rev light, it's dimming itself and then flashing on again. So for your case, I would suggest that you lower the brightness up until a point where it's actually comfortable to look at. It's not too bright. In any condition of your surrounding, doesn't really matter. Just lower it, and you'll find that it will work better. Also, make sure that you're running the dashboard on a powered USB hub. I would suggest not putting it directly into the PC. The USBs, unless it's a high power USB, which usually it's not, tend to limit the power or, you know, fluctuate power. So if you get yourself a powered USB hub, you will be in a much better place, for sure. A few streams, when I moved over to my dual PC setup, I only had one powered USB hub, and I put it on the stream PC because I wanted to power the cameras, right? So I put the powered USB on the cameras, and I just had my dashboard directly on the PC, the gaming PC. And on my streams, this happened like maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, I don't remember when, my main dash, my 6.8, would just turn off on, and it would split the screen. So literally you would see that the dashboard was like half and half, or top and bottom. That's what happens with WoCore. Once it drops a bit, and it kind of messes up the screen. So I'd have to turn it on and off again so it can reset. Sorry. So, and then I just got myself a powered USB hub, put it on the gaming PC, and put all the dashboards on it, and I've not seen any issues after that. So it is a power theme. It's not a dashboard theme. It's not KGL issue. It is a power thing. So Michael, in short, get yourself a powered hub and lower the brightness on your dashboard to a point where it actually makes sense. Let me show you here. If I go POV, I have it at 60%. You can see it. This is 255. This is full. It's like 100%. It's too bright. It actually is too bright for me. For me, I have it at 60% and it's fine. Maybe for the stream, so maybe I'm doing this wrong, but maybe for the stream, let's say for that, I could have it brighter, you know, just for the stream, for you guys. But yeah, I mean, for my eyes, not stressing them, 60 is perfect. Bing clean, blink clean. Use it on my second monitor. Yeah, I mean, you can use it anywhere you want. So you can either use it windowed, you can use it at full screen, you can put it anywhere. You can put it on anywhere you can run a SimHub dashboard. You can run the Lobby dashboard. So yeah, it's a good thing. So I think that's pretty much it for me regarding the Lovely Dashboard version 2.6.0. If you have any questions, I'll stick around a bit. I won't be working on the dashboard now because it doesn't make sense for me to actually work on it now. I just released it. I think I'm gonna let it sit for a few days before I start, you know, fixing stuff. I want to get some reports back from you guys. What I want to kind of direct now the stream, like where I want to go with the stream now, over there, is what's happening now and how things will work. So I just released version 2.6.0, and up until now I was naming all the releases for the private, for the Lovely members, Pro, all Lovely members basically. I was naming them betas. So it would be like 2.6.0, B1, B2, B3. I did this because it made sense for me to use that as a naming convention for the pre-releases. But what's going to happen now is that's going to change, and I'm going to be releasing them normally. So 2.6.1, 2.6.2, and the next official release, which will happen in 3 months' time, public, will be 2.7. So keep that in mind. The next public release will be full version 2.7. If you want to be receiving all the in-between releases, because they're not betas, they're actually releases. I'm adding new features, bug fixes obviously, but these things are releases, they're not betas. So if you want to get them as well, become a member. Follow links in the description, click on them, and you just, this membership starts at €1 per month, 3 and 9. And you're supporting the project. So if you want to get all the in-between releases, you need to become a member. So, I don't know, maybe in April, we'll see when, there will be the version 2.7. So if you guys are patient, you obviously can use that. If there are any critical bugs in the dashboard that I just released, I will be fixing them. And it will be part of the 2.6.1 or, you know, release cycle. But for new features or things that are not there, basically, they will be going into the next version. What is a break? I don't know. What is a break? You tell me. Okay, you deleted it. And you deleted the other one as well. Okay. So, okay. So, what's happening next? What will the members? What should the members expect to be part of the evolution of the Lovely dashboard? So, I have a few things that I want to work on. I'm not promising anything right now what's going to be added, but the plan is to incorporate GT7, so Gran Turismo 7, and Forza Horizon. These two games are probably going to be the next games that will be added to the Lovely Dashboard. So if you're a member, you will have these versions and you will have support for these versions. And then regarding features, there has been a lot of talk of radar implementation. So I'll probably be adding the radar on the MFMs left and right. Most likely. I need to figure out if it makes sense or not. I have some ideas for the radar that I want to try out first. So one is like you turn on the radar, so you always have a radar in one of the two MFMs, but also if your speed drops, the radar appears. So during a race, basically, if you spin or anything else, you will get the radar automatically. You don't have to switch to it. You will see the radar. So I have a few ideas. I don't know how will it be implemented, or I need a lot of testing there, but that's another thing that I want to implement as a feature. Multiclass is coming. So in version 2.7 or building up towards 2.7, there will be multiclass support. If not full multiclass, it will be at least your class only, so you'll be able to see all these things regarding your class. So you have currently the dashboard is showing the full grid, but I will be adding support for your class only. So as you're driving, you can go to the opponents and you won't see everyone else, you will just see your class opponents. So even if you have someone ahead of you, you will still see the distance to the next guy in your class, you know, time and laps and everything ahead of you. This needs some work. It's not easy to do, and it's not just about adding it, fine. It's how you experience it, how you will change it. Will it be something that you do while racing, or will you need to set class only or leaderboard before you start the race or the dashboard? These are things that I need to answer myself. I don't even know these. And along with multi-class, and this might be coming at all in 2.7 because this is a big one. In multi-class, I also want to do team functions, so fuel per stint, and checking out also the estimated predicted lap time when you're driving with multiple drivers, so not just yourself. So that is a bit of work that will be added, but I'm not entirely sure I'll be doing it in 2.7 because that is huge, to be honest, but we'll see. And yeah, I also want to add iRacing support, more stuff from iRacing, and possibly from other platforms as well. So we'll see whatever we have, but those are the main things that will be added to the Lovely Dashboard. And the final, I'm keeping this for the end, the final thing that will be added to the Lovely Dashboard is custom themes. So if you look at the documentation that I've written, especially regarding the True Dark mode, I mentioned that the True Dark mode is not just pretty colors. It is a lot more than that. The architecture behind it, how it works, allows me to create just a list of colors and tokens and put them in a JSON file, and they appear. So if you select, the red color, it'll be red and all that. But these are basically some functions and a file that contains all of these colors. So what's going to happen now, and this will be coming in 2.7, and gradually for all Lovely members as well, building up to 2.7, you will be able to override colors of existing themes. What this means is, if I, for instance, have the red theme, and in my red theme I have the tires, the tire temperature as in blue, green, and red to show if they're in optimal condition, but you don't want to have them in colors. You want to have your tires in really dark red, a nice smooth red color, and then a really bright red when they're overheating. You don't want to have colors on it. You will be able to not touch anything that I have in the dashboard itself, but alongside the settings file, there will be another file called colors, and there will be documentation for this and how it works, and possibly a website like the configurator where you can set colors for everything. So everything that I can do, you will be able to override. So for the theme, for the red theme, for instance, you can just say temp cold is not that hex code. It's not that hex code. It's another hex code, and you only need to override the colors that you want to override. So that's A. You will be able to change the colors of the dark theme, any dark theme, or all dark themes that I have. So red, blue, purple, and orange. You can change them and override colors in specific parts. And secondly, you will be able to create your own themes. So I need to work these things out. It's not there yet, but you will be able to just go into the theme creator or theme editor, the site, and just add, select colors and just add them wherever you want. Hit download, put it in your JavaScript extensions folder, set the theme you want in the settings file. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 for different colors or true dark mode. You will need to name it 5 or whatever you have it. I don't really care. It'll be your number. It'll be on your computer only, and set that, and then your true dark mode would be the color of the theme that you have selected, and you will be able to change colors for everything. The only thing that's kind of concerning for me is how to change the image colors, the icons, but I'll figure that out when the time comes. It's not going to be easy. I'll see. Maybe I'll work something with Nicola. We've already discussed a few things, but I don't know how that's going to happen, but we'll see. So that's like one of the next big thing. So, ooh, thank you, Jam, for subscribing. You are a legend. Hey, Simracers on. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, that will be the next level of the true dark mode. So you will be able to change the colors of the existing themes and change and create your own theme as well. So that's coming in the next version. So I'm just putting this out today, release of version 2.6. It is a major release, but I'm also telling you and describing what is planned, at least in my mind. Now these are just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things I've mentioned. 7. Honestly, these are just maybe the tip of the iceberg, the things, high-level things that I want to do. There will be hundreds of things that will be added until I release the version 2.7. But these things will be taking up my time in the coming months. Now, that's the lovely dashboard. There's also one more product that Pro and Gold members only have access to and will never become public. That's been decided in December or November, I think. And that's the pit wall. So again, I showed you guys in the pit wall, you do have... you now, with a new version, you do have a preview. So if you haven't seen the pit wall ever, if you scroll down, when this documentation is released, you will see the pit wall here. And of course, this is a full link, so you probably will be able to just click on it and zoom in and basically just check it out. So the pit wall will be heavily updated and evolved alongside the dashboard, and it's due for an update. So the pit wall will be getting class only screen, and this has been implemented already. I just haven't released it yet. Class only. It'll have multi-class support, and of course all sims, support for all sims. Currently, the version that I will be releasing next week to Pro and Gold members will have support for class only and iRacing. So there's a lot of changes to iRacing that has happened that I've already integrated, and I will be adding those and releasing those next week. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't decided if you want to become a lovely member, if you're not sure, I hope today, at least today, you have made up your mind and in favor of becoming a lovely member, basically. So if you were unsure, if you're skeptical, know that I'm not going anywhere. I will continue developing this. I'm open to every and all suggestions. There are things that can't be done, but most of them are debatable. Like, most of them we can actually discuss them. Oh, and I know I mentioned these on the other streams, previous streams, but now that we're talking about 2.7, these are also coming. So there will be a dash for this format. So this is the brand new SimDash. I don't know what it's gonna be called. So there will be a lovely dashboard for this format, which is very weird. Really wide. One for this, and one dashboard for a 5-inch. Actually, it doesn't really matter if it's a 5-inch, for dashboards that have a curved top. And this is actually much harder to do. Honestly, I started working on this, just started slightly working on it, and this is really hard to design a brand new version of the dashboard to fit these dashes. But apparently some of you, not some of you, I've gotten messages. Well, this is from PSR, and they have contacted me and they sent this over so I can work on it. But I've also had many people just asking, like, what happened? Well, like, the corners are getting cut off, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want you guys to have a bad experience. I'll see what I can do, and I'll see when and how I can fix a dashboard for this. It will be a separate download, so if you have these kind of screens, be patient. I will be releasing the lovely dashboard full featured with this format in mind. This will be in publicly for 2.7, you know. It'll come then, when it does come. And I'll also be releasing a version for this. Which, honestly, to be honest, I can't wait to get this on my rig. When I'm testing, just look at this. It'll be down there. Like, it's so wide and so slim. It's gonna be weird. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is gonna be a really nice build, to be honest. When I say build, I mean the code. So this is gonna be a really nice one. I can't appreciate the craftsmanship on this dash, to be honest. And also the fact that Jamie from SimDash laser engraved my logo on it as a gift. Yeah, these things are awesome. They're solid. PSRs are, you know, it's basically just what you'd expect from a 3D printed device. Nothing special. It is quite solid. I'll give them that. And their base, one thing that I really love what they have done is this. Their bases come with a magnetic mount. So this thing would actually go on your base or whatever you want, and it's magnetic, and it's freaking strong as well. So you can take this off anytime you want. So I'll give them that. That's pretty good. It's pretty smart. I wonder, I mean, I would appreciate if they were made not as printed. But I guess it's an easy way to do something. But anyway, I don't even know how much this thing costs, so I don't know if it actually changes anything. Anyway, I won't digress anymore with these. These are also coming with the next versions. Yes, Simracer's arm. Oh, do I know your name? I keep on calling you Simracer's arm. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. I don't remember. But anyway, if you're okay, I'll just call you Arms. The version you just saw is a prototype from SimDash. He mentioned that there are only 3 in existence right now. He has one. A friend of his has one, and I have the 3rd one. But it will be released. He's still fine-tuning the PCBs and the whole build and everything. This unit is a prototype that I will be using to design a dashboard. Thanks, Jam, for joining the lovely members, and I hope you enjoy it. I will be around, and okay, I think I don't have much more to show, honestly. A recap of today, and then let me know if you guys want me to do anything, and I'll I can ask. You can ask, and I'll answer if you want. Otherwise, I'll just shut down the stream and maybe do some racing. I haven't raced in a long time, like just on my own. Sorry, I mean, I did race on stream, but I haven't done any just hopping on a server and doing some racing. Wow, done that for a while. So recap of today. version 2.6.0 has been released. You can visit the GitHub page, lsr.gg/dash. Visit it, go to releases, and download the dashboards. I will be releasing the documentation, and GitHub will be updated tomorrow. At which point, when I do that, everyone will be notified of the new version. The new settings file configurator has been updated. Now you can also select colors. Read the documentation that I've written. It is thorough, and I hope it answers most of your questions. Hopefully it will. And we also did a recap on what's coming in the next versions for all lovely members. And I hope that was, yeah, I hope it was, it's something that you guys will enjoy. In the Discord, do not forget, join the Discord. We're nearly 5,000 members. Honestly, how many are there? Currently, there are 4,963 members on Discord. It is the place for you guys to get all the information, ask any questions. I usually respond to the questions myself, but if I don't, there is like 99% chance of another member that has experienced what you have experienced or has an answer that can help you. So do not hesitate to ask anything in the Discord. I think that was it for me, honestly. That's pretty much it. Dan, welcome to the stream. Good evening. Arms, can I pick your brains? I can find the data in SimHub for the torque in AMS2, but can't see the horsepower. Any data? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. So this is the thing. Like AMS2 and iRacing, like ACC has control over their cars because it's a very limited set. GT3s, GT2s, GT4s, and that's it. They're done. iRacing, it's a lot bigger. Not all cars have the same data. What I do when I want to find something, I basically, and this is for, you said it's AMS2, so there are no other plugins. I would just go into the available properties and just start typing in. You wouldn't want to go through the entire list of properties, but I would start typing in, you know, maybe horsepower. Oh, wait, arms, you can do one more thing. You can search in the available properties in SimHub, but you can also search in the values as well. Let me show you. Really simple. Let me switch over to this screen. So I was working on the sessions. I mentioned that literally I launched the dashboard with changes that I did in the last minute, so hopefully it won't break anything. So what you want to do, if you want to find something for AMS2, you need to switch to AMS2, and ideally you'll start a replay in AMS2, which I don't even know what this is. I don't know. I don't even know if it's, is it mine? Who's driving? It is me. Test session. And then you go to available properties, and this is what you have available. This is it. So as you said, you were looking for torque. Engine torque. There it is. Torque. And what you can't find is horsepower. But maybe it's not called horsepower. Maybe it's power. Monitor power status, and that's not it. Maybe it's called something for the engine. You have to go like that. I don't have a list of all, especially for AMS2. But what you can do, before I was saying, you can also search inside values. So maybe it's a number you know that exists. So maybe it's like 500 horsepower. You can just tap on 500. This will basically search in not just the name, the key, and all the value as well. So maybe that helps. Yeah. Especially AMS2. Doesn't mean if you see it in the game, and iRacing, this is the same thing for iRacing. Doesn't mean if you see it in the game, you'll see it in the data. So AMS2, for instance, does not have properties for, I think, TC. TC active, TC level, it does. TC2. There are a few, I can see them down here. But there are a few things it doesn't have. It also has ABS, or is it just off? ABC level, it's 0 currently. I know for sure lights are in a bit shift, whatever they call it, bit whatever, and it's really hard to find and extract it. But they don't have properties for everything. iRacing, for instance, when you're in the 488 GT3, the Ferrari, you have real-time tire data in the in-car, in-game dash, but that data doesn't exist in SimHub. So, you know, if they don't have it, they don't have it. It's simple as that. And I think what happens is SimHub just gets whatever data the game gives. It's also raw data. So raw data, I just mentioned that. How do you see raw data? If I edit any dash, so I'm doing some, you know, 101 stuff here. So this property here is just a text layer. If I go here and say insert raw game data. So AMS2 has raw game data. Check that out, ARMS, if you want to. So on any layer, when you're in the editor, click on text, use JavaScript. If you don't do that, you won't get it. And it has insert raw game data. And this is the raw game data. There is no search in here, but maybe you'll find something. Aero damage, air pressure, there's a lot. Maybe you will find something in here. This is not different than what actually exists in the properties. It's just raw. It's just a list. Image, engine damage, and engine torque, engine DRS state. Yeah, I mean, gear, handbrake, I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But also look in here just to make sure. But although I think the easiest method is just going to available properties. What would it find here? Yeah. Yeah, it's fine, man. I enjoy this. I enjoy solving hard stuff. But again, don't be disappointed if you don't find the data. Do not be disappointed. There's a lot of stuff that I was disappointed in the beginning. Like when I realized that not all cars have properties for lights. You'd think. Also, not all games have properties for time. So I was, what is it here? Is it in AMS2? I don't think it's AMS2. Session time. So if I look for session time, left time name, yeah, there is no session time. Whereas if I'm in, let's say, ACC, and I go to session time, session, it's somewhere here. Maybe it's not called session time. Session time, it's gonna be somewhere. But there's a property for session time, or time of day, or whatever, or something, where you're in a when you're in a session, it lets you know that that session, that's the time of the session. It's 2 p.m. for instance, or whatever. That's not the case for, I think AC doesn't have it either as a property, which is ridiculous, to be honest. I find it very ridiculous. Current daytime is not what you'd be looking for. This is my PC time. But there is one here. I'm absolutely sure. Anyway, can't find it, but there is one here for ACC. So yeah, look for the data. If it's there, use it. Jam, what bug was with ACC? Can you elaborate on that? Simracer 918 PSR. Hello, man. Welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, that's some math there. I have no idea, but if you can get horsepower by torque times RPM, well, that's pretty cool. Hey Brian, yes, I mean, for iRacing users, it is in the new documentation. Just so you know, with the new dashboard, you need to download and install Romain Rob's plugin, the iRacing extra properties, to get SOF and iRating and anything iRacing related. It will be in the documentation tomorrow, but if you guys want to do it now, don't forget you need to download the iRacing extra properties from Romain Rob. If you want to find them, I have links. Go to the GitHub, select the 2.6 branch. You will find the links in there in the installation. But if you're too bored and don't want to do that, just go to Google and search for Romain Rob plugin, and you will find a link to, I think it's on SimHub, in the forum. You select plugins, and it just takes you to Google Drive and just download the 2 iRacing extra properties and install those in SimHub. Just installing them is just grabbing the files, putting them in the root of SimHub, restarting SimHub, and you're done. And then you have all the information that's available from iRacing as well. It's been working fine. So valid lap doesn't return anything during a race. It does work in qualifying, which is it's important. So if you don't set a valid lap, it will turn red. Other games don't. Like for instance, iRacing doesn't have a valid lap. There is nothing. It has some properties, but they don't work, to be honest. So I don't know how that works, or how I have not put so much time and thought into it, but I haven't found anything. ACC works as far as I know. So and when I'm testing it as well, I haven't seen anything changing. So maybe it's another sim. Dan, what was your comment? You said good evening. I said good evening. Damn, Dan. You get another comment I missed? Was there another comment I missed? After the I only have good evening. Please put it back in here, because I don't see anything. I see your hello, and then you say you missed my comment. Gem, I've also noticed, and this is kind of important, I rely on SimHub data, the replay data, but I've noticed that like I've received some replays that are missing data, which is kind of odd. So recently I had someone submit a replay, and he told me that the position is wrong. It showed negative, and when I ran the replay, it did show negative, but it wasn't the only problem. It didn't return, like in the data, there was other stuff that was missing as well. So it wasn't just that one thing. And then I ran another session, it was for iRacing. I ran another session and another replay that I received, and it was fine. So that specific file had a problem, or maybe his system had a problem and wasn't delivering the data. So it could be the case as well. Dan, yes, re-download it. There have been, I've made changes since the last version that was published. Yes, the current final version of the dashboard is on GitHub now. It won't be, because it's the final release of 2.60. You still have a beta, so you will need to download the latest version from GitHub. This is cool. This is cool. I should have some champagne here. And lights. Party lights. Alright, at this week, it's Wednesday. This week we're going to reach the milestone. I'm absolutely confident about it. The milestone being 500 members. I'm absolutely sure we can do it. Hey Dan, yeah, I really like it. I hope you like it. It's the least I can do for the gold members, I guess. Jam, odd. Is Romain Rob's extra properties plugin just summing up props already in SimHub or collecting? It's extra data. So you don't need to download all of the plugins that Romain Rob has. You just need the iRacing extra properties. Again, do this for me. Go into my GitHub. So if you go to GitHub, as it is right now, at this moment, this is what you would see, which is the old documentation. Here where it says main, just click 2.6, and this is the new version. I haven't updated it because I'm still waiting for version JSON here. Nothing to do with anything that you need to do. It's just something that I'm waiting, and I'm going to publish this tomorrow, and that's when everyone will have access. But you can go to the GitHub, change branch to 2.6, and in here, if you go to download and install, which is a bit scroll down here, I have the information exactly what you need to download from Romain Rob, and a link as well to his official Google Drive. I'm not hosting the files, they're his. So all you need to do is download and install the DLL and the PDB for iRacing extra properties. And I saw a mistake here, it's properties, so it's properties. Download those, install them, and they do give you extra information from iRacing. All right, Arms. Nice to see you around. I will be streaming tomorrow. I'm going to be racing at Red Bull again. Red Bull Ring. I really like that track. Possibly, Jam. I have not given that thought. I have not given that enough thought. Maybe it is. Because if you don't have the plugin, maybe you can't get that data. I actually don't. That's a really good question. So if someone doesn't have Romain Rob's plugin, does the data collect? Like, even if you collect the data using the plugin, if someone doesn't have the plugin, would they see the data or not? I have no idea. I'm assuming they would, because it's collecting the data and it's replaying it, so the data, the information would be there. And I'm also assuming that you need the plugins to collect the data from iRacing. So if the replay has been recorded using the plugin, that data should be in the replay, even if the other user or whoever else doesn't have the plugin. There's one more thing I'm testing. I said this stream is going to be just me blabbing and talking about things in the future, but there is one more thing I'm testing. There was a member in chat that mentioned something, and then also in Discord, of a service called Tail Scale. Tail as in, you know, dog's tail, and scale as in something that I avoid going on. So Tail Scale, and this is a really simple and easy to use VPN. It's not like NordVPN, it's free. It's free for the use that I'm going to suggest it. I'm testing it with Daniel Newman last night, but it was too late. It was like past midnight here, and I couldn't do any more testing. The idea for this is that for anyone that wants to use the pit wall, you'll know that in ACC and other sims as well, SimHub only delivers information when it's you driving the car in the session. So if I'm driving, the dashboard shows me information, and the pit wall shows information for my car when I'm driving it. But once I step out and someone else drives it, dashboard goes blank, and the pit wall also stops working because ACC is not delivering that information. I think iRacing does continue, even if it's someone else in the car, but the case I'm talking about is for ACC right now, for sure, because that's the one I use. And the only way to do that is if I'm driving, so let's say the other way around. So if I was driving and now I'm not, and you are driving the car, I'd like to be able to see your data. So the pit wall is useless because I can't see information from my computer on your computer. But can it be like that? Maybe I can. I've installed the the Tailscale app and everything. And what I'm testing now is if I run this VPN and add a user from another part of the world, basically, and they basically VPN into my machine, can they load in a browser as I would the Pitwall? And it seems to be working. So I did a test yesterday. Actually, let me experiment. Let me experiment again. So what I had done is, right now, if I go here and say, let's do the Pitwall, it is running. This is all on my single computer. Fine? Fine. We got this, right? And let's just move here. So this is on my computer. It's on the gaming PC. There's a replay here. Let's go. This is qualifying, so you can see it running. This is the replay. But then I think, wait, let me see something. I need to get the URL. So if I'm on the same network, I can just access it using the IP, which is fine. But I don't want to do that. What I want to do is access it using an external IP. Hold on, let me find it. Gonna run out of battery. Let's try this. All right, so I'm getting off the Wi-Fi. So my phone is currently on that, and I'm going to turn on the same Tailscale VPN. So it's going to connect to the VPN. Once it does, I'm not on my Wi-Fi, so my phone currently is on a VPN, and it is currently not on the local network. So this is the case where we'd be using it. It's working. So what you're seeing here on my phone, and it's actually quite smooth too. Let me move and go. It's even pretty fast as well. Yeah, I'm testing here, but okay. Reported error occur. Fine, errors will happen. Let's see. No, something's not working, I guess. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But this might be because of the VPN or something. But as you can see right now, this thing is working, and I've given access to this. The VPN that's on the phone is accessing the VPN on my computer, and it is actually accessing it through 4G, 5G. It's not on my local network, and it's accessing the Pitwall. And the idea for this, so I'm still experimenting, but you can see it's actually working. The idea for this is when you're doing a race, and you're not in the same room, obviously, you can leave. Well, you're basically running, you're driving, and your teammates can have a specific URL. They can access the Pitwall off of your computer. They will need to have installed the VPN. You would, and they would, and every user would have to give access to the other teammates. But once that's done, that's a one-time thing. They just hit a button, a URL in their browser, and they will access the Pitwall and anything else, any other link, anything else you allow them to access on your computer. They'd be able to do that, which is something that cannot be done in any other case. Like the data, they would literally be seeing the Pitwall. Like this thing They would have it on their computer right in front of them, which I think is kind of important. Let me go catch up. They should be able to do it with the correct IP, basically 2 links. Yes, yeah, Jam, it is, but you need the VPN, and I think I've used other VPNs, and it's just, first of all, you'd have to pay for them, and it's kind of hard to set it up. Yesterday, I just signed up for Tailscale, which is free for up to 3 users, I think. And you just download it, install it, run it on your computer. Your teammate downloads it, installs it. If I'm the one driving, I need to give the others access to my computer through VPN. And when they have access and they've accepted it, they just load up the URL. I will give them the URL of my VPN, my computer, and the address for the pit wall, and they're good to go. So there's no port forwarding. There's no technical issues. That's the problem. Like I can do some of these things. I understand how to do some of these things, but not many do. And to do this should be super simple. And I find that Tailscale it's actually very easy to do. So yeah, no technical, mumbo jumbo. It's just install this app, run it, connect, and just run the URL. Honestly, that's all you need to do. It's very simple. See, Jam, that's the thing. Like, I understand. Dan says, don't you need to port forward it? No, the answer is no. I have not done anything. I just installed the VPN. I connected. I added Daniel as a user from the web interface. He installed the VPN, and I shared a link with my IP address that's been assigned from Tailscale to me, and the link to the I basically took the link for the pit wall and changed the IP to the one that's been assigned from Tailscale, and he ran it. It didn't work because it was really late, and it was really late, and we couldn't continue experimenting. But when I did the exact same thing on my phone, which is not on the local network, it's literally off of the grid, it works. So you don't need anything technical. That's as simple as it can get. I have another workaround for this. I just port forward port 888 SimHub web, and after doing this, everyone can access your SimHub with data in my public. Yes, but your public IP, Simracer 918, your public IP can change unless you have a static IP, in which you have to pay to get, I think. I'm pretty sure. Whereas with Tailscale, you have that IP and it'll never change. That's the IP, so you don't need to make sure that everyone's on the same IP, or if something happens and you get assigned a new IP, unless you have a static IP. I don't think I think you have to pay for that. I don't know if it's part of your internet provider connection, but it is one way to do that. And if it changes, you have to update everyone else. But again, it's something that can be done. Yes. Yeah, Jam, this is not SSL. The URLs and the IPs that I'm giving out to a specific user through the VPN, they're not secure at any way, but it's just connecting my computer to someone else's computer that I trust that person. Yeah, Jam, you basically just repeated exactly what I said, or actually I may have repeated after you. But it is just between, you're not opening this up to everyone. Like, I need to add that specific person to this specific machine in Tailscale. I think I can add users to my general account, but I can also select the gaming PC and add a user to this PC, and they will have access through that IP to this computer. And you need to trust them, yeah, obviously. Ryan, hi mate, superb work. Thank you. As usual, can I ask, would there be a way of displaying the pit wall on a TV using an IP and SimHub? Yeah. Sure. But actually, you need to connect the TV to SimHub. So if you have an extra HDMI, just pull out an extra HDMI to your TV screen and you're good to go. Otherwise, you need to figure out how to display that URL on your TV. So if your TV has a VPN, You can add the VPN to your TV, I guess, or connect the TV to the VPN. Then you can just open a browser on your TV if it exists and just put in the plugin, the URL, not the plugin, sorry, the URL. Otherwise, just your computer is using the VPN. Take an HDMI and plug a TV on it and run the TV off of SimHub. That's fairly simple to do, actually. Dan, I think Zero Tier also can be used for this. A friend and I use it to share SMBs. Someone mentioned Tailscale on chat and in Discord, so that's the first one I went to. I haven't tried anything else, and it works. And if I'm happy, I'm not gonna switch. Like it's how life works for me. If it works, don't try and fix anything. Within Tailscale, you should configure a ACL, like create, type, host, server sharing, accept ports, lovely members, resources. Irix, I don't understand what you're saying. It's a good thing. It's a compliment. I do not understand what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, probably there could be something more I can do. Maybe we should write some documentation on this as a suggested way of sharing this. Because I know this is one main concern. SimHub doesn't have data when I'm not driving. And it is a big concern, to be honest, and it's a fair concern. But if there is a workaround, which is simple, technically it's simple, I would go for it. Like, Jorg, you're saying all these things in the chat, and I understand it. And limiting and everything, but maybe I don't know, maybe you can limit it. Maybe there are settings and you can limit it. Edit machine name, edit machine IPv4, disable sharing settings, revoke access, learn more. No, maybe there's a way to easily do what you just said. Edit. Okay. It has an option for edit route settings. Connect to devices you can't install. You can use an exit note. Yeah, and edit ACL tags. Is this what you were talking about? Edit ACL tags. I'm not showing the screen because I don't know what's... There's IPs and stuff. I don't want to share those. Or at least I don't know if I should. Yeah. Edit ACL tags for Lovely Sim. Yeah. Maybe it will be. Maybe it is a new SimHub feature. You never know. My God, it's 11 p.m. already. Stream was 1 hour and 30 minutes, 1 hour and 40 minutes. Not very long, but important to discuss with all of you. Lovely dashboard version 2.6.0. If you have any more questions, please ask them. But don't my teammates need the pit wall too then? Dan, yes. Because the pit wall will live on your teammates' SimHub. So they will need SimHub and they will need the pit wall. And they will need to become members. But I'm assuming if you're racing, you probably already have a membership on the lovely memberships. I don't know. I'm hoping. Yeah. Nicola is open to many suggestions. I don't know if he'd be open to that. But it would be cool. Sure. Matt, Pitwall will be... I'll be releasing the next version of Pitwall. If not next week, the week after. I've been very stressed lately regarding the dashboard, so I think I'm going to take... not a break. No, not a break, but I think I'm going to take a small... kind of take it easy after this launch, because I'm expecting bugs, and I want to make sure that these aren't critical bugs, and update those. But the Pitwall is coming Possibly not next week, but the week after that, with updates for the multi-class thing that I already discussed and showed you, and iRacing. And maybe the other sims as well, depending on how much time I can spend on it. But the Pitwall will be getting a lot of love going forward. Thanks, Dan. Thank you. Yes, please share the word. Please share the word and get people, get them subscribed. I don't know how to stress this enough. This is a side project. I probably would want to make a video on how this thing started. I don't know if it would be interesting for others, but this is a side project gone viral, I guess. I don't know how you call that. I don't know how you could position what's going on now with the lovely dashboard. Right timing, right product. I will say it's a good product. An open community. All these things came together, and it is what it is today. And I'm so friggin' excited and proud and appreciative of everything that's happening. But my goal, because of my character and who I am and how I am, it doesn't stop there. Like, now I'm thinking a lot bigger. You know, making all these collaborations, working with companies, contacting companies, seeing that the lovely dashboard is being used and known far and wide. It's actually very weird. I've never been in this kind of a position before. I've had projects and work that has been, it was good and it was very niche, and you know, the startups went well and all that, but nothing like this. This is within the community of sim racing. It is big, and I didn't make it. You guys made it big. I'm just continuing to serve, right? It's not that. But now I want more. Now I want this to become a product. Now I want this to become my job. You know, I'm enjoying this thing so much that I want this thing to be what I'll be doing for the next 5 years. For, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2. I don't care how long, but I want this to become my job. And to do that, I need members. So there have been a lot of discussions with companies, known companies and not so known companies, and the answer is always the same. And I get it. No one wants to pay for something if they're going to give it away for free. There are many reasons that they would do that, but it's hard to convince them because it's a very niche market. So what we can do as a community is, well, first off, getting the memberships high, which means I can actually spend more time, cut back on other stuff that I do that actually pay the bills, and work on this, and make sure that this project will be able to thrive with the community and the work that I'm putting in and the memberships and everything, and then go back to the companies and get them to also incorporate the dashboards and everything. One of the most notable moments was when Moza literally copied the lovely dashboard and put it in their FSR wheel, because they're using proprietary software. They're not using SimHub. When I saw that, I contacted them and I told them, I'm the creator of the lovely dashboard. What are you doing? They got back to me and they offered me a wheel. I don't have, you can see that I don't have any Moza wheels. And I told them, you can't do that, and it won't work like that. Because, and this is why I'm stressing this so much, you can't just copy the lovely dashboard and put it in your steering wheel and say, I did it and I get a steering wheel, for instance. They were giving me like the, I don't know, it wasn't the low end, it was the mid-tier version, I think. But I declined it because the transaction would be, they give me the steering wheel and the base, the R9 I think, or the R15 or whatever they call it, and I would just let them copy it and add it to their ecosystem. But I didn't accept that, and I said no, because I just put out a version 2.6, true dark mode, track data. There's so many bug fixes. I would control their version. Their version would not be the lovely dashboard. Their version would be a stale version that they created once that looks like the lovely dashboard. And I don't want that. I don't want people buying the Moza saying that it'll have the lovely dashboard and it won't be the lovely dashboard. So I countered and said, you know, screw that. I don't want products. Let's work on this thing together. We'll find a different deal. Yes, obviously I won't build something for you guys to sell your steering wheel. But they declined. They said no. And they actually took it off of their wheel. So if anyone is using a Moza and has an FSR, the steering wheel with the screen, let me know. You haven't seen the dashboard on it because they promised they would remove it and not ship it. But that's the case with most companies as well. I've seen that repetitively going on. So I don't know what the case is. I mean, the best chance we have is building the community. Honestly, I didn't think this would be possible until I saw the Patreon of the guy that makes Soul, the AC mod. Until then, I was like, this is not going to happen. I'd rather get money off of the companies and not from members. But then I also realized that who's going to benefit from this? It is going to be mostly the members, the people that are actually using it, not the companies. So there's a balance of how this thing will work. But as I said, it wasn't until I saw the Patreon of the guy that has the AC mod Soul, and I saw that he's got like, I don't know how many thousands of members, and that's when my idea shifted, my mentality shifted, and I mean I have subscriptions for Pitskill, LFM, Daniel Newman's LED profiles. What else? Go setups. I don't remember. I have Simracing memberships. I have them because I'm benefiting from them, and that's when I shifted my mentality and thought, okay, I have 5,000 members in Discord. The dashboard has over, I think it's over 5,000 unique users per month. Sorry, it's around 5,000 unique per month or something like that. Actually, I may be talking bullshit now. I think it's a lot more. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot more actually, not that. And I'm thinking, okay, what if all of them became a member? Then this becomes a product, then this becomes my job, and then we all get to work. I get to work on this. You guys get to use it, and we're all happy. And then we can do collaborations with companies and drivers and stuff like that. That can come later, but first we need to build it. So it was this whole mind shift thing that happened in November. I think it was in November where I started thinking about these things differently. I started thinking of this as a product. How can this thing survive? It would not survive if I was relying on companies. It simply wouldn't. It's such a niche market. There are so many companies coming out and producing things. They wouldn't be able to support this. So I shifted. And we'll see how it goes. I think it's going okay. I think there's great potential for the memberships. I think they are adding value. So yeah, I'm just being honest, honestly. I'm not holding back anything. I'm being as honest as I can with the community, with everyone here, how I'm thinking about this and how I want this thing to progress. So membership is it's a key aspect. Either it's the starter member or pro member or the gold members, doesn't really matter. The more members, the more opportunity we have to work on this together as a community, and I can do this as a full-time job. Matt, I want to be here for the long term. Honestly, I've been thinking about so many things. I had the opportunity to speak to Tony Kanan. I think it was last week, and we agreed to work on everything together. So there will be improvements on the experience and the information that we get and how we display it from a friggin' legend, right? So this thing will only get better. This thing will only get better, but we can do it together. That's all I'm saying. Like if if the community didn't exist, if the memberships didn't exist, I would probably not be able to just do what I've done today and continue doing what I want to do. So yeah. Jam, holy, I just googled that and it's blatant. Yeah, Jam, it is blatant. I wouldn't disagree, but you saw what they did. They literally took the lovely dashboard, they changed the background colors. It's the same exact layout. The icons are the same. They didn't change the icons at all. And we're about to publish it, but they stopped. I was more than willing to work with them to create the exact lovely dashboard in the Moza ecosystem. And I know for a fact that people are asking for it. And they're asking for it. They even asked it for the Thrustmaster, the SF1000. Again, there. But unless these companies want to work with me, my goal is not to take the money and run. I do not want that. My goal is, if Moza wants the lovely dashboard, I want to work with them now and in the future to always deliver this. So an example of how I would see this thing working now, the example would be I released 2.6.0. I have a list of things that I've done. I share it with Moza. I work with the developers. They add it to the dashboard. They add what they can to the dashboard and release it as version 2.6.0 for the Moza steering wheel. Not have it getting stale. I would not want that to happen. So that was my idea. And I keep on saying Moza because I'm open about it. It was the one manufacturer that actually contacted me. I've had others as well, but that's the one that we started discussing and trying to figure out like how we can work it out, until it was like, no, you know, we just want to put it in there and forget about it, which is not what the lovely dashboard is about. I could have had a Moza FSR wheel now, and I think it was the R15. I don't remember which ones I have, but the first one was the low end, and then they came back with the mid tier, and I'm like, no. Matt, well done for sticking to principles. It's not about principles. I'm thinking about this in the long run. Honestly, it's just for the long term of viability of this project. I'm trying different things with other manufacturers as well. So Simutech, if you guys know it, Simutech is the only manufacturer that we've discussed, and they use the lovely dashboard on their website and on their packaging and everywhere. And when you install the drivers for their screen, it also prompts you to download the dashboard and join the Discord. So it's kind of like an experiment. I want to see how that's going to work. And it's going good. It's going good. And we're going to also work on a product together. Simracing related, but unlike, it's not going to be a lovely dashboard thing. It's going to be a physical product. So that's like kind of an experiment. So I'm looking at ways to get this thing in more than just one way. Get it out there. Yeah. It's not just about principles, it's about the long term. Getting this thing to become a viable product in a market that is so niche, but expanding so fast, it's ridiculous. Like every single day, I see new companies on Instagram and Facebook and everything. It's just ridiculous how fast this market is growing. And it's kind of also like no holds barred. Like you can see things happening. Like everyone's producing the same exact dashboard, the same design. Very few are actually creating new designs or unique designs. Most of them are just like, oh, the BOSCH design is great, let's do that. And then it's just oversaturating a market, and it's kind of weird, but you know, you can do it. I mean, it's just weird. So trying to create a piece of software in such a niche, fast-growing market, which is free, and making a business out of it. Hell, if I do that, I'll probably get an award for that. Speaking of awards, no friggin' award ceremony has any dashboard or software for sim racing awards. They all have like screenshots and streamers and game and car, but no one has best software. As in dashboards, maybe? What's up with that? Jeff, how you doing, man? Thank you for stopping by. Wait a second. Let me scroll up. I'm missing a few comments. I just googled something. Jam, sim racing isn't cheap, so the audience is there for paid things. People who are not scared to invest in the hobby. Jam, you'd be surprised. People will pay 1,000, 4,000 for pedals, but they will not become a member for €1 per month. As I said, my analytics show that the dashboard has been being used by thousands of users per month. And I'm now reaching 500 members. The math isn't there, to be honest. If you look at it from the Discord perspective, it's good. Because 5,000 members, 5,000 Discord members, 500 lovely members, it's like, it's a good number, right? It's like a 10%. I think it's 10%. But does that mean that I have to go to 100,000 Discord members to make a living? I don't know. It's weird. It can grow, but I've seen it so many times. Like, people spend so much money, like 10, 20,000 on their rigs, and eventually just try and get the free stuff free, even though they could pay for it. Or they just get the 2.6 version today. It's going to be downloaded. It's going to be used by many. But will I get new members? I don't know. Maybe. Dan, by any chance, did you go to the ADAC Sim Racing Expo in Dortmund? Because I found some LSR stickers. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. No, I did not go, but I did print out stickers. And I had them shared by Robin from Bongo Racing, who was there. So if you did get a sticker, you probably got it off of Robin. And I'm really happy to know that out of those stickers, I did get one new gold member too. Wow. So they paid themselves off. Yeah. Got my money back. But you know I'm kidding. Jam, how's the collab with GSI going? Oh, well, the collab with GSI was for the Hyper P1. So that's done and dusted. I think the collab was, I designed something for them. The design, the UI for the Hyper P1 Dash is theirs. They can do anything they want to it. They can put it in marketing. They can change it. It's theirs. Files and everything. The code is shared. So they decided to just keep it internal, and I think Dan Suzuki was updating it. Added some stuff, removed some stuff, but I have nothing to do with that. So yeah, it was a collab, but there's nothing there right now. I do want to get to work with Jose again. I don't know if we're gonna find anything to work on. I do have a few ideas. So Gomez, if you're watching this stream, I will send you a message maybe next week with some ideas that I have for us working together. And I hope you like them. Jeff says, the thing is, it appears that people want this to be a one-stop shop that does everything when there are apps for a lot of the requested functionalities that the dashboard doesn't need to do. Jeff, I will agree and disagree with that. So, agreeing that a lot of people want this to be a one-stop shop, and disagree with the part that says there are more apps. There are more apps, and there are more apps that do the same thing far better. So the lovely dashboard doesn't want to replace all of the apps. What it wants to do, the lovely dashboard, is deliver the most important information that has to do with you driving the car and not the pit wall. Pit wall is a different thing. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the dash. And nothing more than that. So adding more information, but adding it in a way that makes sense is what I'm going for. There have been cases where someone took the dashboard and for their personal use, which they're allowed to do so, and changed it and add like a shit ton of information on it. And they're like, oh, I did this, want to add it? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's actually really good, the information, but it doesn't work. It needs to be like, even now, I think the dashboard is very, very tightly packed. But I also think that the information is spread across the modules and it works well. It's important to keep that functionality, the UX, in the right spot. So making this a one-stop shop for everything will probably never be the case. It's why the pit wall exists. So the pit wall cannot be on a dash in front of you while driving. You can have it on the side looking at it, but again, when you're driving and you're in the moment, you can't just glance up to the pit wall. Pit wall isn't, it's a nice thing to see, but it's made for other people to see, to focus on the pit wall and what it delivers, the information. So I think that's why I agree and disagree. It's not a one-stop shop, but it may replace other applications. At the end of the day, I think every sim racer has SimHub on their computer, and it's the one app I don't think anyone would remove at any point in time. So using Piggyback on SimHub to deliver all this is a smart move. I think at least it's you're not asking anyone to add new applications or draw more resources off of their computer. They already have SimHub, so I think it's a smart thing to do. I mean, Nicolas is making probably the best app for sim racing out there, and he's listening and he's developing. So, you know, don't get me wrong. Again, I don't want to, you know, I'm not saying anything against Race Labs and ACC Drive. These are all amazing, and there are things that this won't ever be able to do. As you said, there is a place for everything. There is a place for everything.
New Ko-fi subscription from Patrick.
Patrick, thank you for joining, man. Can't wait to see the lovely dashboard TK edition. It's going to be an interesting one. So, yeah. I don't have much to share on that, to be honest. But the TK edition, what you should expect to see is the lovely dashboard. So it's not going to change. It's going to be the exact same lovely dashboard in the next iteration or the next version of the lovely dashboard. So more features and more specific things in there, but it will be the same dashboard that I will be sharing as the lovely dashboard. The TK edition will have, first off, its own default settings. So the dashboard will be set up in the way that TK wants it. He's already using the lovely dashboard anyway. So we're going to set it up exactly like he wants it and he uses it. So when you download the TK edition, you'll be downloading the version and settings and everything down to the millisecond of how TK wants it and how he uses it. And it also will have some theming options. So we'll have probably like a TK theme on it instead of just having this one. So again, anything that's in that dashboard will be in the original one. That won't change. It'll just be more of a focused TK edition dashboard. Don't ask me what. There will be new features, which will be shared with the original as well, but don't ask me what, because we haven't gotten there yet. Jam, you have to admit, you did edit the lovely dashboard a while back to have a rotating gear as a learning experience. The amount of work that went into this dash is insane. It is insane, I will confirm. I'm not going to say it's the best or it's great, but the amount of work and the amount of work that has gone in version 2.6 is insane. As much as you may or may not believe it, the performance updates are insane. I mean, they're not even half of them are not in the pit wall. And some of them that were in a pit wall completely changed the pit wall. So yes, there's a lot of work going into this thing. And once you open it up and start editing, you realize that. I even realized that. And it's not perfect. Absolutely not perfect. There's just so much more room to improve. There's a post in the Discord for someone asking the dashboard to calculate tire pressures and fuel for a race. To do that, Jeff, you would need to input information. So I would need to think about that. I've been trying to think about that. But I don't know when and how to do that. So to calculate fuel, for instance, you need your average lap consumption, you need your lap time and laps, or time for the race, or laps, to be able to say like you need this much fuel. But when do you know this information? It's not fixed. Not all sims have that information before the race. So if you're in a qualifying session, you don't have that information before the race. It's a bit tricky. Like, you can do the calculations. I have a spreadsheet and I also have an app on my phone. You can do the calculations, but it's tricky to do that automatically in the dashboard if you can't enter that information. So I don't know. We'll see how that. I want to do all these things. I want to build these automations and make it easier, but it also has to work and make sure that it works. So that's the tricky part. Noel G says, yes, I hate subscriptions, so I don't bother. I prefer to pay once. Well, Noel, I need this project to survive, so paying once is not going to work here. I am pressuring Ko-fi to get an annual subscription. You know, maybe have like a small discount as well, but they don't do that yet, so I can't do that. ACC Companion and ACC Engineer are the only two external apps I use, along with Lovely Dashboard and Pitwall. Yes, I don't use anything else, honestly. The only app I use is a fuel calculator on my phone, but huge difference. I only do 4 races per week. Honestly, that's it. On Tuesday, on my stream, and on Thursday. And Thursdays, it might also be that I'm doing the Warrior series, so it's just one longer race. Okay, this is awesome. More subscribers. Dirkules 73. Thank you very much for subscribing, man. That's awesome. Jeff, still torn on using tower and flags. Flags, I mean, I have it on the DDU, my old DDU here, a 5-inch. I think they're good. The flags, the one thing, the benefit on using the flags, the one thing that actually, the reason I really want to use it, because flags also have the LFM and pit scale next race module in them. So if I sign up, it's always there. It would be on my dash, but, and the reason I did this was someone on Discord basically just said, what if I sign up for a race, I want to go practice. That means that if I sign up for a race, my dashboard in front of me will go, it won't have the next race on it, it will just go in the practice session. So I won't see when the race is going to start. And I can't put the alert in the dashboard. I don't want to have those resources because it's kind of resource intensive, pinging and polling the website, the API. So I put that in the flags, but it is in the flags. It's always on the flags. So when you're in a session, the flags will let you know if your time is coming up and if you need to go and join the session and so forth. So for the flags, I think that's pretty cool. The tower is just for streams. The tower is just for your stream if you want to. I use it. I think it's much more beautiful than having anything else I've seen. And the tower will be also updating to multi-class and all that, but that'll be happening sometime in the future. Yeah. And the tower automatically switches, because the tower is not something you control, it's just on your stream. If you're not in a session, it disappears completely. So if you have it as an overlay in OBS, and you're not in a session, you won't see anything. But once you go in qualifying, it has a different layout and different values. So next time you see your position, you see how many seconds off of the pace, off of P1. And in a race, it's completely different as well. So the tower is just information for your viewers, I'd say, not for you yourself. The information that's in the tower, you also have them in the dashboard if you want to. I use Crew Chief too, Jeff, definitely. XCC Companion will keep track of all your sessions and also will calculate fuel. Yeah. I have not used it, so I don't know. Hey Daniel, finally, you're here. So we started the stream with releasing 2.6.0 and then showed off a bit. Like if you go back in the stream and watch it, I showed off a bit, you know, the documentation, everything. Documentation has not been released today. I'm going to release that tomorrow along with the documentation. When I release documentation, everyone that's on the previous version of the dash will get a notification on the dash. So I'm just going to hold up for today and until tomorrow. Anyone who downloads it can use it. Getting more, I just want to get more quick feedback on if everything's okay before I send out a ping to everyone that there's a new dashboard on. And also, I did talk a lot about 2.7 and how we'll build up to 2.7, which is basically just versioning 2.6.1, 0.2 for all lovely members. So we're building up to that part. Hey Travis, thank you for joining, man. Yeah, guys, one of the things that I appreciate most, and I did say this sometime in the stream today, was the lovely community. And through the lovely community, I've met a ton of people. And when I say a ton of people, I mean a lot of people. The Discord has 5,000 members. So at least 5,000 people, right? Some we've come close. Others, closer. The one person that I've really, like, my number one, and I'll say this, my number one supporter has been Daniel Newman. He's in the chat right now. And when I say number one, I don't mean number one, you know, membership, gold member, and number one is in that. I mean, he's always been there, right? Helping me and supporting, and I hope I've been supporting him as much as I can in my capacity. I've been listening to all the feedback. He's been the guinea pig for every stupid idea that I've had. And up until recently, Daniel was working on LED profiles for DDUs or steering wheels. And he's been doing amazing stuff. I think he had the CSX3, and now he's got the X29 from Gomez. And he's been doing these insane LED profiles. And I hope, honestly, I hope I've inspired him to create his own Discord, Daniel Newman Racing Discord. And now he's building that, and I'm pushing for that so much, where he's sharing all his LED profiles and all the work he's doing. And in fact, in the little time that he's actually opened the Discord, he has done leaps on innovation on LED profiles. And you guys have to understand, LED profiles up until Daniel worked on them were just a byproduct. Like, you download, you buy a dashboard, you download the lovely dashboard, and you just put on a LED profile, whatever, you know. And then Daniel comes over, works with Nicola from SimHub, and has produced the most advanced LED profiles. In fact, they are so advanced, they have settings files as well. So the version he launched today, version 2, works with the lovely dashboard hand in hand. I have not tried it out yet. I have not had time. But allegedly, Daniel has told me that if you switch your lovely dashboard to dark mode, it will follow the color of your dark mode. So if you set it to red, your LED profile will become red. If I have purple, it will become purple. So, I mean, honestly, he's been going over and beyond. So please, if there's one thing that I'm very proud of, is the work that Daniel is doing on his Discord with the LED profiles. And if there's one thing I will take away from, like if one day I stop working on these things, I will always say that the fact that I may have inspired someone to do something regarding, you know, the way I've been taking a new approach to dashboards as a product, it'll be that. And if I can do that for more people, I will be even more happier. That's why I say this thing's been open. It's free for everyone, but I do have members because I need to actually support it. You know, there are technical issues, but the fact that it's free, it will always be free. I want to have more people do all these things. You know, so just, yeah. Go. Daniel, put a link to your Discord. I don't have it. Put a link to your Discord. I want people to join and download the files. And of course, support Daniel as well. You know? Alex Crusay, thank you for joining, lovely members. You guys rock. Today has been an amazing day. For me, today has been a lot of work, a lot of stress. I'm not going to lie about that. Getting it out the door. And I was updating it up until like 10 minutes before I went live. And I'm probably going to start updating it. And if you guys find anything wrong, if you guys find any bugs, any problems, any critical issues, I will be releasing a fix for public members, for the public of the dashboard, not only for members, but it has to be like critical issues, things that are really that are actually a problem and that won't work, for instance. So, or problems in the UI if things are conflicting, because there have been a shit ton of changes all across the dashboard. So I'm expecting people to come back and say, this isn't working, that's not working. So please take your time in Discord, send me any of your bugs that you find for version 2.6.0, and I will, if they're critical, I will fix them. I will not be adding new features or changing something that may not be critical. All that's done for the members. As I said, it's a technical issue. I need to sustain this. I need to support this. URLs are forbidden in the chat, huh? Well, everyone go to my Discord in the general channel. Daniel will post. He already has posted, but Daniel just put it in the Discord. People, the link in the description. Go to my Discord, and in the general channel, I want Daniel to post a link to his Discord. I want you guys to go see what he's doing. It's mega. That's it. I can post the URLs. You can't. I don't know why. All right. This was supposed to be a short stream, but apparently it is long. All right. So I will. Yeah, chats. Nothing else is on chat. I think I've spoken about everything. There was no deving in this chill chat and dev. There was a lot of chill and a lot of chat though. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Jam, I said I was going an hour ago, but as you can tell, I like talking. I'm. See, you guys, you say one thing and I want to say 10 after that. I was here's actually an actual life story, which was taught to me by a colleague recently. So we were talking about other projects and other work that we want to do. It's a startup. It's basically just ideas we were throwing to each other, how we want to proceed and all that. And it's about a very topic I have very dear to myself, like really close, and I really love it. And I was talking about it pretty much as I'm talking about the Lovey Dashboard, I guess. And he was just smiling. And at the end, he's like, he's like, he didn't know who he actually quoted it. If it was Steve Jobs or if it's someone else. It doesn't really matter. He just said that, you know, like, don't try and compete with someone who's enjoying their job. Don't try and compete with them, because you're going to compete, you're going to work hard to compete with someone that's not working. They're enjoying it. And that goes for that project, because that's friggin' awesome, that project, which has nothing to do with sim racing. But it goes with this project as well. I just love it. So I'm over enthusiastic. I'm overzealous. It's something that I love to do. That's why I started doing this in the first place. So yeah, I was going to leave an hour ago, but you guys are keeping me here. But I will say that the stream has to come to an end. Hold on a second. I need to pull up my gold members. All right, we got them up here. All right, so this is the end of the stream. Unfortunately, I do have to go. Thank you all that joined me today. Thank you all for this journey. I hope you guys enjoy version 2.6.0, released today, and tomorrow will be released to the general. Well, it is the release to the general public, but tomorrow I'll be releasing and pinging everyone regarding the new version, so everyone can download it now. Go to the GitHub, you will find it in releases, but tomorrow I'll be updating documentation and everything regarding the lovely dashboard. I would like to thank all the Gold Lovely members: Anthony Hall, Augustine Martin, Cody Fowers, Corey Wise, Dan Westerman, Daniel Newman, Henry Castillo Bachero, Brian Spiracus, Graham Baptiste, Jeff King, Iñaki Duranona, Jason Rivera, Jared Davis, Chris Rollins, Maximilian Kraus, Michael Pagliaro, Robert Robles, Rito Brulman, Sean Reed, Simon Tunin, Thiago Silva, Tobias Hoff, William Martin, Josh Fulton, and Mark Worthington. Thank you very much for going over and beyond and becoming Gold Lovely members. The support is immensely appreciated. I also appreciate every single other lovely member, and I also appreciate everyone that's not a lovely member, just by supporting and giving me feedback and making this thing a better product. As I said, we are near 5,000 Discord members, and if I'm not mistaken, lovely members, active subscription, we need 5 more memberships to go and reach the 500 member milestone. It is epic, it is mega. That's it. Thank you very much, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be racing. I will be doing LFM tomorrow. Red Bull Ring. I want to go for a round there. I really love that track. So if you're around, yeah, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you guys